May the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. This gospel is almost as painful as our sound system. I was at a dinner party last night with some other clergy, and we were all lamenting about, really, it's 100 degrees, and we have this gospel this morning. Like, can't you do any better for us, Jesus? Not what we were very excited about preaching on this morning, this fire and this division that Jesus brings into our own families. I don't know about you, but I have enough dysfunction in my family without this gospel. Yet there it is. And part of it, I think, might be a little comforting that Jesus speaks the truth, that, I get it. I understand what families are going to be like and what you're going to have to live through, and what dynamics bring about, and that sometimes when we're talking about the truth and how we feel, it does bring about those challenges in our relationships. So there's that sermon. I preached on it 3 years ago, so sorry, Lutherans that weren't here, you missed that sermon, because I'm going to preach on Hebrews this morning. Very excited about that, because I've been distracted by the Olympics. I don't know if anybody else has. Some of you are nodding. Like, it just feels good, doesn't it? And we as a people, I think, needed something to just feel good and distract us from what we feel is division and fire all around us. And so I get really excited about the ceremonies because, I'm a liturgy nerd, and so I like the processions, and the athletes take an oath, and they raise a flag, and there's music, and they light fire, and it feels good. And then you see these refugees march in, and you just, you lose it. It's just this beautiful thing that all of these athletes have gathered together. It's their life dream, right? And they've been working their whole life in many circumstances for this moment, sometimes just seconds, right, of their moment. And it's this huge amount of dedication and training and their families, and that with those parents of that one gymnast that, like, she can't look, and she's like holding on to her husband the whole time, and she doesn't want to see her daughter on the beam, and it's just this beautiful experience that these families have been through. And so we get this lesson from Hebrews, right, this morning, that's all about running the race. Couldn't be more perfect for an August sermon every 4 years to fall on this marathon that we call life. And that Hebrews, the letter to the Hebrews, calls life as well. And it's a good reminder to me in the midst of this summer heat, as some of you are knocking on the door of school starting back, and I see the faces of teachers out there, and of students, and of parents who are excited about that. And, it is a marathon, this life we are on, and not a sprint. And it is good for us to be reminded of that on this hot morning. I think it's also good to be reminded of that phrase that I love, this great cloud of witnesses that surrounds us on every side. I pray a lot with some of you at bedsides and whatever. I always use that phrase because it's those who have gone before us, it's those of us who are gathered here now, and those that we know we are raising up that are crying in the back right now that will come after us and carry on our tradition. This great cloud of witnesses that is cheering us on, those who have already run the race and finished it, those who are gathered right now cheering us on, saying you can do it, and those that we are raising up and training. And so I like that idea a lot, of this great cloud of witnesses. The Olympics, though, can be hard to watch sometimes, right? Because there's usually, unless there's this dramatic tie, only one gold medalist at the top of the podium. And for some reason, we rarely see, unless it's an American, the bronze medalist or a highlight of them. It's the winner. It's the one who makes it, the one who gets it from our hometown 23 times, Like, this is huge, and we focus on that. But you look in the pool, and, there are at least 9 others with them who are just like sometimes 100th of a second. Like, we can't even imagine how brief of that behind the gold medalist. Like really, give them all a gold medal, you know? Like we got enough to go around. But it's the one, and we so oftentimes forget the rest who are right there. And yet, it is that winner, that Michael Phelps example, that causes the rest of us to want to do better. And so in the midst of our world and our Facebook culture and our comparing each other and what our schools our kids have gotten into and what job we've gotten, it's important to remember that we're all in the pool and that we all rise. That rising tide brings us all together. And how important that is to cheer one another on, just as those athletes do, and how that each time makes us better. There's this story about a bunch of monkeys, not a bunch of us crazy people gathered together, but a bunch of monkeys off this island in Japan, and these scientists are studying them, and they dump, for some reason, whatever their study is, a truckload of sweet potatoes on the shore for these monkeys. And so some of them are eating them, and then one day the scientist observes that this one monkey takes the sweet potato down to the ocean and starts scrubbing it, and then eats it. And so she realizes that the water and the scrubbing gets the dirt off, which would make a sweet potato taste better, right? But also that the salt water, makes the sweet potato taste better if you don't have marshmallows to boil on top of it. And so the monkey then goes and teaches the ritual to the others, to her children, and then they pass it along. And so all the monkeys on that island know how to eat sweet potatoes. And so that's a beautiful thing. But then the scientists keep studying, and not long after, on this distant island, not too far, where there are also monkeys, they realize that in the absence of any communication, right, between monkeys across water, between these colonies of monkeys, on the second island, the monkeys start doing the exact same thing, of washing their sweet potatoes in the water and then eating it. It is what this biologist Rupert Sheldrake calls morphic resonance, which says that the behavior of animals and plants can be molded by the behavior of others across both space and time. Isn't that fascinating? When one athlete trains to run faster, the rest of us want and do run faster. When you reach out to others in love, it makes me reach out to others in love. When your prayer life increases, deepens, when your worship experience deepens, so does mine. When you give more of yourself, it causes me to give more of myself, all in the pool together. Yes, from time to time, that pool may seem like it has that algae bloom, that poor unfortunate pool does in Rio, but we are all in this pool together, pulling one another along. So let us stick with those stories of these Olympians, their amazing stories, their dedication. Let us remember that we are part of this great cloud of witnesses, cheering one another on, supporting each other through the ups and downs of the marathon of life, through the division of relationships and the rebuilding and redemption of those. Come here, share your burdens with one another in joy and in triumph. It is what this house is for. So bring what you have and share it. It makes us all want to share as well. Because these scientists, they tell us that behavior, which includes faith and belief and ways of being, can be molded by others throughout time, past, present, and those to come. This is what God has told us, from Abraham to Mary to Jesus, and the faith journeys and marathons we have seen. So strengthen your weak knees. Join in the marathon. Let us run the race together. Amen.